Okay, let's do it. Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Ria Aurora and I am a student of the Zone Learning Project class, and this is my interview. As a precursor, the purpose of this course is to provide students with an experimental learning opportunity to incubate an idea that they may have, or to further develop a project that they already have developed. In my case, I have a nonprofit organization called the South Asian Yard, and when I had enrolled in this course, my two objectives were to build financial sustainability and facilitate effective placements for undergraduate students. It's important to note that the South Asian Yard is a newly developed organization. We have been officially operating as of February 2022, and in August we just launched the South Asian Yard in person. We had a beautiful launch event in the heart of downtown at Bloor and Young. I had a pop-up shop, marketplace of South Asian creatives, and it was a really great and humbling opportunity to put our project in the real world. So when I had entered this course, my initial focus was to advance my nonprofit organization in any capacity that I could. So at the time, I had just found out that we had secured placements, and as much as that was an incredibly amazing, humbling opportunity, it was anxiety provoking. In an ideal setting, I would have allocated months to just creating a placement plan, strategies, lesson plans, like just doing all those things that an educator would do for a student. But I had literally just found out that in 2 weeks, I'm going to be facilitating placement for 2 students. It was just wild. And so, yeah, that's what essentially drew me into focusing my objective into facilitating as best of a placement that I could for these students. Aside from that, another primary concern of mine was maintaining a consistent stream of income. Not sure if many of you are aware, a fundamental, significant problem in the nonprofit sector is the lack of funding opportunities. So while there are government funding opportunities, it's not something that nonprofits can solely rely on, because pretty much just inconsistent and unpredictable. You can apply to a $80,000 to $4 million grant, which can help you maintain some form of consistency in your operations, but the likelihood of you solely putting all your eggs in one basket into that one grant, getting that, is low as fuck. And so throughout my journey in this course, I had learned a completely different interdisciplinary toolkit to help me accomplish these objectives. The first thing that was instructed to me that was quite challenging was I had to quantify my goals. So I come from a social work background. We employ a qualitative approach to anything that we do, and we low-key look down on quantifying our approaches just because it tends to reduce the human subjectivity. Just to give you a little bit of background, we had merchandise that we had single-handedly produced during the summer, and we had over a year's worth of stock that we were going to local independent markets and selling such merch. And so my prophet asked me, how much money would you ideally want to make per market? And that was something that was very challenging for me to answer, because I didn't want to give a high number and then disappoint myself if I didn't make that number. And so I was reluctant to employing this approach in my practices, because I'm like, okay, well, I could just be setting myself up for disappointment and failure, and like the last thing I need is to have more reason that's going to contribute to my feelings of inadequacy. However, it was helpful numerically identifying my outreach goals, because otherwise I think I would have just been at a loss of direction, and I would have just constantly been asking myself, is this a good number that we're at? And ironically enough, per outreach, we always managed to make around $200. So aside from that, in regards to placement, one of the first challenges that I had experienced was I just wasn't sure what I was doing and whether I was doing it correctly. And I remember my prof had said to me, you don't have enough information, and for you just to feel this sense of like assurance and confidence, you just need to find out that information. And he told me that it's going to take you some time. He also just nudged me that, like, just be transparent about that, let them know. So that was the start of my journey. And throughout, like, I was just building off of that. I was building off of these conversations that we were having every 2 weeks, in addition to the presentations. It constant reminders of like where I'm at is absolutely normal. It made me feel like I was in a safe space, and most importantly, I felt very inadequate. Like, the more I was striving to be perfect, the more inadequate I felt. And it was through these classes that I just realized that, like, everyone here is in the same boat as I am. And also just seeing everyone with their projects who were just beginning and comparing that to like where I was at in the course, like, kept me grounded. And at the end of this course, I ended up realizing that yes, like, these were 2 really important objectives that I'm really happy that I had focused on. But one thing I had taken out of this course that I didn't even know that I needed was resilience. It's a lot to delegate a nonprofit organization while being in school. Also, like, this, like, my type A personality of working hard and, like, the grind don't stop, work don't stop attitude was gonna essentially like disservice me at one point, and it did. It had given me almost a reality check that there are people out there who work really hard and then end up burning out, and it doesn't serve them or their business well. And that was something that I really, really needed to see and hear, because it pushed me forward into making really big fundamental life changes. I've just been feeling really great, and I'm really glad I took this course. I started this course feeling absolutely confused and just like not knowing enough, and I'm leaving this course feeling like still like I don't know enough, but I know something, and that's comforting. And I've definitely built my confidence through this course, so I'm very grateful. So to end off this interview, my key takeaways in regards to the beneficiaries in the context of placement is that it definitely takes a long ass time to develop relationships with your students. To have good quality relationships with your students requires time and effort, and that's just something that you're not going to get right away. And just be ready to be comfortable in the uncomfortable for a while. It does get better, but it's not a great start. In the context of outreach, it's such a pain in the butt, like the long hours, the expenses, the car, the driving, the gas. But now that it's December and I'm looking at the amount of profit that we made, it was the best feeling ever. My accountant had told me that we had made more profit than expenses, and that is the best thing that you want your accountant to be telling you. She had told me that it's very normal for businesses and nonprofits to incur more loss than profit, and we had actually done the opposite. And it just built my confidence, because throughout the year I felt like I constantly asked myself, am I doing a good job at leading say into the right direction? And this form of objective measure really confirmed that for me. I think, like, going forward, I think if I were to give myself advice now, is just have gratitude for me. Like, I need to have gratitude for myself. Like, I need to take care of myself, and I need to love myself, as cliche as that sounds. What are my next steps? So my next steps are, so this was something that had been discussed in the course, was to essentially organize a fashion show. So we did not get the grant from City of Toronto, but like I said, you can't rely on grants, and I don't, because I'm a G. So once we complete our current project, Project Aria, which is a community mural at Agincourt Mall, officially organizing a fashion show. So I'm just gonna end this video by just thanking JP. Thank you so much. I don't listen to a lot of people, and like, you were one of the few that I listened to, and I'm really glad that you gave me your time and you gave me your knowledge. I'm really happy that you invested in me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.